It's my great pleasure to welcome and introduce one very key player from the development community and from the donor community, that of Germany. We have with us Jurgen Beerfeltz, who is the State Secretary of the Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development. Jurgen and I just recalled that we last worked together in Istanbul at the LDC conference where we were discussing the role of the private sector. That was a particularly significant meeting for me, not just for the honor of meeting you, sir, but also because there was a distinct private sector track in that important UN conference, which was a very major positive step. The slight downside was that one or two private sector colleagues found themselves walking around with UN labels which said NGO, because they were clearly not governmental organizations and therefore must be NGOs. It did cause them some consternation, but at least the private sector was there and had a distinctive voice. So Jurgen, sir, the floor is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, so it's a pleasure for me to address you on this very important topic. I think we all here agree that there can be no sustainable development in this world without sustainable economic development. And there can be no economic development without a strong private sector. Therefore, private sector commitment must be at the heart of the post-2015 development agenda. The importance of the private sector in making progress towards the MDGs is evident from the following figures. In 2011, over 750 billion US dollars, more than half of global foreign direct investment went to developing countries and emerging economies. That is almost six times as much as official development assistance in the same year. The private sector creates sustainable jobs and income, and its taxes provide the basis for the public sector to take effective action. What is more, the private sector contributes to development through corporate social responsibility measures and inclusive business models. To make full use of this great potential, we in Germany have strongly increased our support for the private sector development. For example, we cooperate with partner countries in establishing better business frame conditions, and we are increasingly engaging in public-private partnerships with companies directly. We need to build on the lessons learned from this cooperation in defining how enterprises can contribute to the post-2015 development agenda. And we need to make efficient use of the structures that have been established already at the global level for bringing donors, partner countries, and the private sector together to discuss this topic. And in this context, once more, a big and great thank you to Georg Krell and the very important work of the Global Compact. I think it is an outstanding work, what we have to recognize, not only here in this room. Let's not forget, we have already made some progress on engaging the private sector in the development agenda. In 2010, it was Germany, together with 11 other donors, issued the bilateral donor statement in support of private sector partnerships for development. We did that during the UN MDG summit. This statement recognizes the private sector as an equal partner in addressing development challenges. In 2011, we achieved another I think, major milestone at the fourth high-level forum on aid effectiveness in Busan, and another big event in 2011 was just mentioned by Graham, the summit for the least developed countries in Istanbul. But in Busan, for the very first time, the private sector was officially involved in the development effectiveness agenda. In 2012, at the Corporate Sustainability Forum in Rio +20, we saw an impressive number of private sector initiatives and activities and voluntary commitments aimed at sustainable development. I think the next 2 years will show which of these commitments are followed through, and this experience will also inform the post-2015 process. For us, there is no doubt that the private sector needs to be involved in both the formulation and the implementation of the post-2015 development agenda. We would very much welcome the private sector being given an opportunity to be involved beyond the consultations on the formulation of the post-2015 framework. As a donor, we are not in a position to tell companies what shape this commitment should take, but we can facilitate this process and assist where our experience is needed and where it is welcome. And we have to make them aware that earning money and earning public reputation are two sides of the same coin. In the coming year, we need to deepen and follow up on today's results. In this respect, I very much welcome the plans of the Global Compact to address this topic with the private sector at the UN Global Compact Leaders Summit to be held during the 68th UN General Assembly in September 2013, and Georg and I just agreed that Germany will also a partner in this high-ranking event. Let me emphasize state money and state activities are an urgent necessity, both now and also in the future, but the state alone cannot reach our ambitious goals. For that reason, and as a matter of principle, we need more commitment from the private sector and civil society in our countries. Thanks for your attention.